I'll never forget the day I met Alexis Torres. It was a Tuesday morning in late September, and I was 24 years old, living in my parents' basement, unemployed for the 6th month in a row. And honestly, I'd stopped caring. My name is Jordan Matthews, and according to everyone in my life, I was wasting my potential. I had a business degree I'd never used, a string of jobs I'd quit within weeks, and zero motivation to do anything about it. What no one understood was that I couldn't bring myself to care about a life that didn't feel like mine. Jordan, get up here. My mom called down the stairs that morning. Her voice had that edge that meant she'd made another executive decision about my life. I dragged myself upstairs in sweatpants and an old college hoodie, my hair in a messy bun that hadn't been washed in 3 days. In our pristine living room sat a woman who looked like she'd walked out of a magazine. She was probably in her early 30s, with golden brown skin, dark curly hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail, and these intense hazel eyes that seemed to see right through me. She wore a white button-down tucked into high-waisted black pants, and she stood when I entered the room with a confidence I'd never possessed. "Jordan, this is Alexis Torres," my father announced from his position by the fireplace. "She's a certified life coach and career counselor. We've hired her to help you figure out your next steps." I felt my face flush with humiliation. "You hired someone to fix me." "We hired someone to help you," my mother corrected sharply. "Since you refuse to help yourself." Alexis stepped forward, her expression kind but direct. "Mr. and Mrs. Matthews, would you mind giving Jordan and me a few minutes alone? First sessions work better without an audience." My parents exchanged glances but left, closing the door behind them. The moment they were gone, Alexis's professional smile softened into something more genuine. "That looked brutal," she said. "Want to tell me to go to hell? I can take it." I blinked, surprised. "What? Look, I know how this looks. Your parents ambushed you with a stranger who's supposed to fix your life. If you want to tell me off and send me packing, I get it. But..." She sat down on the couch and gestured for me to join her. "What if you gave me 1 hour? Just one honest conversation. If you hate it, I'll tell your parents this isn't going to work and give them a referral to someone else." Dio. Something about her directness disarmed me. 1 hour, 60 minutes, then you're free. I sat down, keeping distance between us. "Fine. But I should warn you I'm a lost cause. I don't believe in lost causes. I believe in people who haven't found the right path yet." She pulled out a notebook. "So, Jordan Matthews, tell me something true about yourself. Not what your parents think or what you're supposed to be. Something real. Like what? Anything. What makes you happy? What makes you angry? What do you think about when you can't sleep at night?" I stared at her, trying to figure out her angle, but those hazel eyes were patient, curious, none, and maybe it was because she was a stranger, or maybe it was because I was so tired of pretending, but I answered honestly. "I think about how I'm living the wrong life, like I'm an actor in a play I never auditioned for, saying lines that don't feel like mine. Everyone keeps telling me what I should want: career, marriage, kids, suburban house, and I don't want any of it. But I don't know what I do want, so I just freeze." Alexis wrote something down, nodding. "That's called existential paralysis. It's actually really common in people your age, especially when there's pressure to follow a specific life script. Do you know what's missing? What would make the script feel like yours?" I opened my mouth, then closed it, because the truth was sitting right there in my chest. And I'd been pushing it down for so long, I'd almost convinced myself it wasn't real. "I can't tell you," I whispered. "Can't or won't. Both." Alexis studied me for a long moment. "Okay, here's what I think. I think you're not unmotivated or lazy. I think you're terrified, and whatever you're hiding, it's taking up so much energy that you don't have any left for anything else." My hands were shaking. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Maybe not, but I know what it looks like when someone is living a lie. I did it for years." She closed her notebook. "I'm going to tell you something I don't usually share with clients this early. When I was 25, I was engaged to a man my family loved. Good job, good family, checked all the boxes. 2 months before the wedding, I called it off because I finally admitted I was gay. My family didn't speak to me for a year. It was the hardest thing I've ever done and the best decision I've ever made." The air left my lungs. She'd just said it so casually, so openly, like it wasn't this huge, terrifying, life-destroying thing. "Why are you telling me this?" I managed to ask. "Because your hour isn't up yet, and I'm hoping you'll trust me with whatever you're carrying. But if you're not ready, that's okay too. We can work on other things, first career stuff. Motivation. Whatever you want. The door is open whenever you want to walk through it. I looked at this woman, this stranger my parents had hired to fix me, and something cracked open inside my chest. I think I might be gay, I whispered. I've thought it since I was 16, but I buried it because my family is conservative and my mom has my whole life planned out and I'm supposed to marry my boyfriend Chad and I can't keep pretending. The words tumbled out in a rush, and then I was crying, really crying. For the first time in years, Alexis handed me tissues and didn't say anything. Just let me fall apart in my parents' living room. When I finally stopped, she smiled gently. Thank you for trusting me with that. And Jordan, you're not broken, you're just closeted, and that's exhausting. No wonder you can't function. What do? We take it one step at a time. First, we work on you getting comfortable with yourself. Then we figure out the rest. And maybe, she glanced toward the door where my parents were probably listening. We tell your parents, I'm helping you with career development and life skills, which isn't a lie. It's just not the whole truth yet. You'd do that. Lie to them. I'd protect your privacy until you're ready to come out. There's a difference. She stood up. So, same time next week, we can meet here, or at a coffee shop if you'd prefer, somewhere less, ... parental. Coffee shop, I said quickly. Definitely coffee shop. Good choice. She handed me her card. Text me if you need anything before then. And Jordan, that thing you just did, being honest about who you are, that's the hardest part. Everything else gets easier from here. As I watched her leave, something shifted inside me. For the first time in years, I felt a tiny spark of hope. My parents had hired Alexis Torres to fix me, but I was starting to think, maybe I didn't need fixing at all. I just needed permission to be myself. Our sessions became the highlight of my week. We met every Tuesday and Thursday at a cafe called The Grind, tucked away in a neighborhood where I didn't have to worry about running into anyone who knew my family. Alexis never pushed. She asked questions, listened to my rambling answers, and helped me untangle years of internalized shame and fear. We talked about everything: my childhood, my relationship with Chad, which was more friendship than romance, my complete lack of interest in the corporate jobs my dad kept suggesting. What did you actually like studying in college? Alexis asked during our third session. I didn't. I majored in business because my dad said it was practical. Okay. But before college, when you were a kid, what did you love? I thought back, trying to remember the girl I'd been before I learned to hide. Art. I used to draw constantly, filled up dozens of sketchbooks. I wanted to go to art school, but my parents said it wasn't realistic. Do you still draw? No. I gave it up. Senior year of high school. Why? I shrugged, but we both knew the answer. I'd given up everything that felt authentically mine to become the daughter my parents wanted. Homework assignment, Alexis said, writing something in her notebook. Buy a sketchbook, draw something, anything, just see how it feels. That's not going to help me get a job. No, but it might help you remember who you are, and that's more important right now. I bought the sketchbook that afternoon. That night, I sat in my basement room and drew for 3 hours straight. My hand cramped and my drawings were rusty, but I felt alive for the first time in months. The next session, I showed Alexis my sketches, mostly nature scenes and abstract patterns. She flipped through them carefully, her expression thoughtful. These are really good, Jordan, like, actually good. Have you ever considered art therapy or graphic design? That's not a real career, says who? Your dad. She closed the sketchbook and looked at me seriously. Jordan, you're going to have to stop living your life according to other people's definitions of success. You get one life, one. Do you really want to spend it in a job you hate, married to a man you're not attracted to, pretending to be someone you're not? It would make my parents happy. What about making you happy? The question hung in the air between us. What about my happiness? When had I last even considered it as a priority? I don't know how to do that, I admitted quietly. Then let's figure it out together. Over the next few weeks, Alexis helped me see my life with new clarity. She encouraged me to break up with Chad, which I finally did, and he was honestly relieved. She helped me research art therapy programs and graphic design courses. She taught me how to set boundaries with my parents instead of just shutting down. But more than that, she helped me accept myself. We talked about what it meant to be gay, about finding community, about the fear and the freedom that came with living authentically. She shared her own coming out story, the struggles and the triumphs, and made me believe that life on the other side of the closet could be good. And somewhere in all of that, something else happened. Something I definitely wasn't supposed to feel for my life coach. I started falling for her. It was in the way she listened. Really listened, like my words mattered. It was in her laugh when I made an unexpected joke. It was in the way she texted me articles she thought I'd find interesting, or sent me photos of street art she'd seen on her morning runs. It was in the way my heart raced every time I saw her name on my phone screen. I was in trouble. 2 months it wasn't perfect, but it was something. Marcus cornered me in the kitchen while I was helping with dishes. Have you reached out to her yet? Into our sessions, I came out to my brother, Marcus. He was 5 years older, married with a kid, and the golden child who could do no wrong. I expected judgment. Instead, he hugged me and said, I know. I've known since you were 17. What? Jordan, you had a poster of Kristen Stewart in your room for 3 years, and the way you looked at girls versus the way you looked at Chad. It wasn't subtle. Why didn't you say anything? I was waiting for you to be ready. Are you ready? I mean, I'm working on it. I have a life coach, the one mom and dad hired, the hot one. I felt my face heat up. She's not I mean, yes, that's her. But Marcus grinned. Oh my God, you have a crush on her. I do not. You're turning red. You totally have a crush on your life coach. Marcus, shut up. It's not she's helping me figure out my life. It's professional. And does this professional life coach know you're into her? There's nothing to know because I'm not. I stopped, seeing his knowing look. Okay, fine. Maybe I think she's attractive, and smart, and funny, and completely off limits because she's my coach, and I'm her client, and it would be wildly inappropriate. But if she wasn't your coach, she is my coach. That's the whole point. Marcus got serious. Look, I don't know the ethics of life coaching, but I do know you've been happier these past 2 months than I've seen you in years. Whether that's because you're accepting yourself or because you have a crush or both, don't mess it up by doing something stupid. Okay, I'm not going to do anything. I'll get over it. But I didn't get over it. If anything, it got worse. During our session the following week, Alexis showed up wearing a leather jacket over a simple black dress, and I completely lost my train of thought mid-sentence. Jordan, you okay? She asked, concerned. Yeah, sorry, just, tired. But she was watching me with those perceptive hazel eyes, and I had the uncomfortable feeling she could read my mind. We've been working together for 2 months now, she said carefully, and I want to check in. How are you feeling about our sessions? Is this still helpful? Yes, definitely. You've helped me more than you know. Good. Because I've been thinking, you've made a lot of progress. You broke up with Chad. You came out to your brother. You're drawing again. You're starting to build a life that feels authentic to you. Okay, so I'm wondering if maybe it's time to transition you to someone else. Another coach who could take you through the next phase. My stomach dropped. You don't want to work with me anymore. It's not that. She looked uncomfortable, which was unusual for her. Jordan, there are professional boundaries that I need to maintain. And lately, I think it would be better for you to work with someone who can be more objective. Are you firing me as a client? I'm suggesting that you might benefit from a different perspective. I stood up, feeling irrationally hurt. This is because I came out, isn't it? You think I developed some kind of crush on you because you're gay and you helped me, and now you want to pass me off to someone else. Alexis stood too, her expression conflicted. Jordan, I'm right, aren't I? You think I have some kind of transference thing going on, do you? The question stopped me cold. We stared at each other across the table, and I knew I had 2 choices, lie and keep her as my coach, or tell the truth and lose her entirely. Yes, I said quietly, I have feelings for you, real ones, not just gratitude or transference or whatever. And I know it's inappropriate and I know you're just doing your job and I know I'm making this weird, but you asked. Alexis sat back down slowly. Okay. Thank you for being honest. So you're definitely firing me now. Sit down, Jordan, please. I sat, feeling miserable. I'm not firing you, but I do need to be honest with you too. This has become complicated for me as well. You're not my only client who's LGBTQ+, but you're the first one I've had personal feelings about, and that's a problem, a significant ethical problem. My heart was pounding. You have feelings for me. I'm attracted to you, and I care about you beyond what's appropriate for a coach-client relationship, which is exactly why we need to stop working together. Not because you did anything wrong, but because I can't be objective anymore. What if I don't want to stop? Jordan, what if we just acknowledged this thing between us and then worked through it? Isn't that what therapy is supposed to do? Help you work through complicated feelings. I'm not a therapist, and even if I was, This isn't the kind of thing you work through. This is the kind of thing that requires clear boundaries. She rubbed her temples. I'm going to give you 3 referrals to excellent coaches. We'll have 1 more session to transition properly. After that, I can't see you professionally anymore. And personally, what? Can you see me personally? After we're not working together anymore? Alexis looked torn. I don't know. Maybe, eventually. But Jordan, you need to work with someone who can help you continue what we started. You need to come out to your parents, figure out your career path, build your confidence. That has to come first. How long? How long do I have to wait before we can try something? I don't know. 6 months? A year? Long enough that it's clear your feelings aren't just about the coaching relationship. Long enough that I can be sure I'm not taking advantage of a power dynamic. I nodded, trying not to cry. Okay, so this is it then. For now, but Jordan, what you felt, what you told me today, that took courage. Don't ever be ashamed of being honest about your feelings. That's something I hope you'll always do, no matter who you're with. We had our final session the following week. It was professional and polite and absolutely gutting. Alexis gave me the referrals, wished me well, and walked out of the coffee shop without looking back. I sat there for 20 minutes after she left, staring at my cold coffee and wondering if I'd just imagined the whole thing. Then my phone buzzed with a text. Alexis, you're going to do amazing things. Jordan Matthews, I'm proud of you. I texted back, thank you for everything. See you in 6 months. Alexis, maybe. We'll see. Take care of yourself. It wasn't a promise, but it wasn't a no. The next few months were the hardest of my life. I started working with a new coach, Patricia, who was kind but wasn't Alexis. I enrolled in a graphic design certificate program. I got a part-time job at an art supply store. And I came out to my parents. It went about as well as expected, which is to say, terribly. This is a phase, my mother said, her face white. It's not a phase, Mom. I've known since I was a teenager. Is this because of that coach we hired? Did she put these ideas in your head? Alexis didn't make me gay. She just helped me stop lying about it. My father was quieter, but his disappointment was palpable. We had hopes for you, Jordan. A good career, a family. I can still have those things, just not the straight version you planned. We need time, my mother said finally. This is a lot to process. They asked me to move out, not immediately, but soon. They needed space. They said they needed to figure out how to handle this. I moved into Marcus's spare room for a month while I found a small studio apartment I could barely afford. My parents sent formal texts asking how I was doing but didn't invite me to Sunday dinners. It hurt more than I wanted to admit. But I also felt lighter, free, like I could finally breathe. I made friends in my graphic design program, came out to them immediately, and felt a rush of relief when nobody cared. I went to my first Pride event with Marcus and his wife. I cut my hair short, started dressing in a way that felt like me, and watched my reflection change from someone I didn't recognize to someone I actually liked. And I didn't contact Alexis. I wanted to. Dozens of times, I'd draft texts and delete them. I'd find myself near her office building and force myself to walk away. I'd see something funny and think Alexis would love this and have to remind myself we weren't in each other's lives anymore. It was torture, but I also knew she was right. I needed to do this part on my own. I needed to know that I could be happy and authentic without her, so that if we ever did try something, it would be because I wanted her, not because I needed her. That 6 months passed, then 7, then 8. My parents invited me to Thanksgiving, which felt like progress. My mom was stiff and formal, but she used the right pronouns when talking about my hypothetical future partner. My dad asked about my design work and seemed genuinely interested. The one you're still pining over. I'm not pining, and no, I haven't, she said to wait a year. It's been 8 months, and you're clearly still into her. What are you waiting for? I'm waiting to be sure that these feelings are real, that I'm not just Jordan. You reorganized your entire life. You came out, you moved out. You're building a career you actually care about. If you're still thinking about her after all that, those feelings are real. I dried a plate slowly. What if she's moved on? What if she was just being nice when she said maybe? Only one way to find out. I spent 3 days composing the text. Wrote it, deleted it, rewrote it. Finally, I sent something simple. Me. Hey, it's been 8 months. How are you? She responded within minutes. Alexis, Jordan, I'm good. How are you? How's the design program? We texted back and forth for an hour. catching up. She told me about her coaching practice, about a trip she'd taken to Peru. I told her about my work, about coming out to my parents, about my new apartment. Finally, I took a breath and typed, "Would you want to get coffee sometime, just to catch up?" The three dots appeared and disappeared several times. Then, "I'd love that. Are you free Saturday afternoon?" We met at the Grind, the same place we'd had our sessions. Alexis arrived first, and when I walked in and saw her sitting at our usual table, my heart did something complicated in my chest. She stood when she saw me, and for a moment we just looked at each other. Then she smiled, that real smile I remembered. Dan pulled me into a hug. "You look good," she said. "Really good. Happy." "I am happy. Thanks to you." "No, thanks to you. I just pointed you in the right direction." We sat down with our drinks, and the conversation flowed easily, like no time had passed. But there was also something different, awareness, a possibility that hadn't been allowed before. "I need to ask you something," Alexis said after about an hour, "and I need you to be completely honest. How do you feel about me now? After all this time, after everything that's changed?" I took a breath. "I still have feelings for you. Different ones. Maybe I know you better now. Or at least, I think I do. But Alexis, I've dated other people. I've made new friends. I've built a life that's mine. And through all of it, I kept thinking about you. So either I'm completely pathetic, or this is something real." "You're not pathetic." She reached across the table and took my hand. "Jordan, I've thought about you constantly. I've gone on dates, and the whole time, I'm comparing them to you. I kept your last sketch, the one you gave me in our final session, on my desk. I almost texted you 100 times. Why didn't you?" "Because I needed to be sure that I wasn't taking advantage of you, that you had time to become who you needed to be without my influence. That if we tried this, it would be between equals, not coach and client. And now I think you're one of the bravest, most creative, most genuine people I've ever met. And I'd really like to take you on a date, a real date, where we don't talk about life goals or career development." I laughed, feeling tears prick my eyes. "I'd like that too." Yeah, definitely." Alexis squeezed my hand. "Fair warning, I'm extremely competitive at mini golf, and I will not let you win." "Are you asking me to go mini golfing with you?" "I'm asking if you're free Friday night. Mini golf, then dinner. It's a date." We sat there grinning at each other like idiots, still holding hands across the table, and I felt something settle in my chest. This was right. This was real. My parents had hired Alexis Torres to fix me, but she'd done something better. She'd helped me fix myself, and now, maybe, we could figure out how to build something together. Friday night arrived, and I changed outfits 4 times before settling on dark jeans and a fitted burgundy shirt. I'd gotten a fresh haircut and spent way too long on my appearance for someone who claimed to be confident. Marcus, who I'd invited over for moral support, laughed at me. "You're nervous." "I'm not nervous. You've changed shirts 3 times in the last 20 minutes. It's our first official date. I want to look good." "You look great." "She's already into you. Relax." But I couldn't relax. This felt too important, too fragile. What if it was awkward? What if the chemistry we'd had during our sessions was just because of that context? What if— My phone buzzed. "Alexis, outside. No pressure, but I'm excited to kick your ass at mini golf." I laughed and grabbed my jacket. Marcus hugged me. "Have fun. Text me later." And Jordan, breathe. Alexis was leaning against her car, wearing casual jeans and a gray Henley, her curly hair loose around her shoulders. When she saw me, her face lit up. "You look amazing," she said. "So do you. Ready to lose spectacularly at putt. Ready to prove you wrong." The mini golf place was delightfully cheesy: windmills, dinosaurs, a pirate ship. We played 18 holes, and Alexis was right. She was ridiculously competitive and very good, but she also laughed when I did terribly, helped me with my stance, and didn't gloat too much when she won by 15 strokes. "Okay, you're officially a mini golf shark," I said as we turned in our clubs. "I contain multitudes." She bumped my shoulder with hers. "Hungry? There's a great Thai place nearby." Over dinner, we talked about everything we couldn't before: our families, our past relationships, our favorite books and movies and terrible TV shows. Alexis told me about growing up as the oldest of 4 kids, about her mother's initial rejection and eventual acceptance of her sexuality. I told her about my art, about wanting to eventually freelance full-time. "You'll do it," Alexis said confidently. "You have the talent and the drive. You just needed to give yourself permission." "You sound like my life coach." "Sorry. Occupational hazard. She smiled, but seriously, I'm not your coach anymore. I'm just someone who believes in you and wants to get to know you better. I want that too. After dinner, we walked through the downtown area, not quite holding hands, but close enough that our arms brushed occasionally. The night air was cool, and the streets were busy with Friday night crowds. Can I ask you something? I said as we passed a bookstore. Why did you become a life coach? Honestly, because I needed one once and couldn't afford it. I was lost after coming out, struggling to figure out who I was without the straight life I'd planned. Someone helped me pro bono, and it changed everything. I wanted to do that for other people. That's beautiful. It's also why I take on some clients for reduced rates, like you. Actually, your parents were paying full price, but after we stopped working together, I donated part of the fee to an LGBTQ youth center. I stopped walking. You did. They thought they were paying me to fix their gay daughter. Felt like the money should go somewhere that actually helps instead. I didn't plan it. I just turned to her and kissed her. It was soft and brief and perfect. Right there on the sidewalk, with people walking past us. When we pulled apart, Alexis was smiling. I was going to wait until the end of the night to do that. I'm impatient, I noticed. She took my hand, really took it. Lacing our fingers together. Want to walk to the waterfront? Or is it too cold? It's perfect. We walked for another hour, talking and laughing and occasionally stopping to kiss when the moment felt right. It was easy and natural and everything I'd hoped it would be. When Alexis dropped me off at my apartment, we sat in her car for a while, neither of us wanting the night to end. I had a really good time, I said. Me too. Can I see you again? Tomorrow, maybe. Or is that too much? Tomorrow is great. What did you have in mind? There's a farmer's market in the morning. Then maybe we could cook something together. If you're interested, I'm very interested. She walked me to my door, kissed me goodnight longer this time, deeper, and waited until I was inside before leaving. I immediately called Marcus. How was it? He asked before I could even say hello. Perfect. It was perfect. We're seeing each other tomorrow. Told you. So she's the one. I don't know about that, but she's something special. Good. You deserve something special. That night, I lay in bed, unable to sleep, replaying every moment of the evening. The way Alexis laughed, the way she looked at me, the way my hand felt in hers. Thought my parents had hired her to fix me, but they'd gotten it all wrong. I wasn't broken. I just needed someone to see me for who I really was. And Alexis Torres. She saw me perfectly. The next 3 months were a dream. Alexis and I fell into a relationship that felt both exciting and comfortable. We saw each other several times a week, dinner dates, movie nights, long walks, lazy Sunday mornings at the farmer's market. I met her family over video chat. Her siblings were hilarious, teasing her mercilessly about finally having a girlfriend they approved of. Her mother was warm but cautious, clearly protective of her daughter after seeing her hurt before. I like you, Jordan, she said during our second video call, but if you hurt my daughter, I know where you live. Mom, Alexis protested. I'm just being clear. Jordan understands, don't you? Me. Completely, I said. And for what it's worth, I have no intention of hurting her. Good. Alexis introduced me to her friends, a tight-knit group of women, who welcomed me easily once they determined I was serious about her. We went to game nights and pride brunches and gallery openings. For the first time in my life, I had a queer community, and it felt like coming home. My own parents were slower to come around. My mom invited us to Sunday dinner, which was awkward but survived. My dad asked about my design work and seemed genuinely impressed when I showed him my portfolio. They called Alexis Jordan's friend for the first month, then graduated to partner, which felt like progress. They're trying, Alexis said after a particularly stilted family dinner. That's more than a lot of parents do. I know, I just wish it wasn't so hard for them. Give them time. You just turned their worldview upside down. But they love you. That's obvious. Not everything was perfect. We had our first real fight about 2 months in, when Alexis made plans without checking with me first, and I felt like an afterthought. We argued, both said things we regretted, then sat down and talked it through. I'm sorry, Alexis said. I'm used to being single and making my own plans. I need to get better at considering your schedule. I'm sorry to. I overreacted because I was feeling insecure about something else and took it out on you. What were you feeling insecure about? I hesitated, then decided honesty was always better. Sometimes I worry that I'm still figuring myself out while you have your whole life together, like I'm going to bore you or hold you back. Alexis pulled me close. Jordan, you're not holding me back. You're making my life better, more interesting, more fun. Yes, we're in different phases of life, but that doesn't make you less than me. It makes us complementary, really. Really, and for the record, watching you discover who you are has been one of the most beautiful things I've ever witnessed. Don't ever think that's boring. We learned how to fight fair, how to communicate needs before resentment built, how to support each other through stress and celebrate each other's wins. It wasn't always smooth, but it was real. My design work started taking off. I landed a few freelance clients through connections I made in my program. One project led to another, and suddenly I had a portfolio I was proud of. Alexis celebrated every win with me, even the small ones. You're doing it, she said one night after I landed a particularly good client. You're building the life you wanted. We're building it. I couldn't have done this without you. You absolutely could have. I just held up a mirror so you could see what was already there. One Saturday afternoon, 4 months into our relationship, we were at Alexis's apartment cooking dinner together. I was chopping vegetables while she worked on the sauce, and music played from her speaker. It was domestic and simple and perfect. Move in with me, Alexis said suddenly. I nearly cut my finger. What? She turned from the stove, looking nervous. I know it's fast, and if you think it's too soon, that's totally fine. But you're here most nights anyway, and I love having you here. And I want to wake up next to you every morning. Are you sure? What if we drive each other crazy? Then we'll figure it out. Jordan, I'm not saying this lightly. I know what I want, and what I want is a life with you in it, fully in it. I set down the knife and crossed to her, wrapping my arms around her waist. I want that too. Yes, let's do it. Yeah, but fair warning, I'm messy and I leave coffee cups everywhere, and I work weird hours, and I'm annoyingly organized, and I sing off-key in the shower, and I have strong opinions about how to load the dishwasher. Sounds perfect. We kissed, and the sauce burned a little on the stove, but neither of us cared. Just close family and friends, held at a botanical garden in the spring when everything moving in together was an adjustment. We learned each other's rhythms, negotiated closet space, and had several discussions about optimal room temperature. But we also built a home together, a space that felt like both of us. I set up a small art studio in the spare bedroom. Alexis hung my sketches on the walls. We adopted a cat from the shelter, a gray tabby we named Pepper, who immediately claimed Alexis as her favorite human. Life felt stable, happy. Then, Alexis's ex, Sarah, came back into the picture. They'd dated for 3 years before. Alexis ended things because Sarah wanted to move across the country for a job, and Alexis wasn't ready to leave her practice. Now Sarah was back in town, newly single, and reaching out. She wants to meet for coffee, Alexis told me one evening, showing me the message. Just to catch up, she says. I told her I'm in a relationship, but she still wants to see me. Jealousy twisted in my stomach, sharp and unexpected. Do you want to see her? I'm curious how she's doing. We were together for a long time, and it ended amicably. But if it makes you uncomfortable, I'll decline. No, you should go. I trust you. And I did trust Alexis, but that didn't stop the insecurity from creeping in. Sarah was 35, a senior consultant at a major firm, sophisticated and successful. Everything I wasn't yet. The night Alexis met Sarah for coffee, I tried to work on a design project but couldn't focus. Every time my phone didn't buzz with a text from Alexis, I imagined them laughing together, remembering their history, Sarah convincing her she'd made a mistake. When Alexis finally came home, I was pretending to watch TV. Hey, she said, sitting next to me. Sorry that took longer than expected. We had a lot to catch up on. It's fine. How was it? It was ... interesting. Sarah's doing well. She apologized for how things ended, said she regretted not fighting harder for us. Alexis took my hand, and I told her I was happy, that I'm in love with someone incredible and building a life I actually want. You told her you love me. I did, because I do. Jordan, I love you. I should have said it before now, but I was waiting for the right moment, and I kissed her, cutting off her rambling. I love you too. I've loved you for months, probably since our 3rd coaching session if I'm being honest. Alexis laughed. That's deeply inappropriate timing. I know, but I can't help when I fell for you. We stayed up late, talking. Alexis told me more about her relationship with Sarah, about why it ended, about how seeing her again had only confirmed that she'd made the right choice. She was patient with my insecurities, reassuring without being dismissive. I'm not going anywhere, she promised. You're it for me, Jordan Matthews. You're it for me too. A year and a half into our relationship, Alexis took me on a weekend trip to a cabin in the mountains. She said we both needed a break from work and city life, just a few days to disconnect and recharge. The cabin was perfect, rustic, but comfortable, with a huge stone fireplace and windows overlooking a pristine lake. We spent the first day hiking, cooking together, and sitting on the porch watching the sunset. Thank you for this, I said, curled up against her on the porch swing. I didn't realize how much I needed it. Me either. We should do this more often. Just unplug and be together. The next morning, Alexis woke me up early. Come on, I want to show you something. She led me down to the lake, where she'd set up a picnic, breakfast, coffee, pastries, fruit. The morning mist was still rising off the water, and it felt like we were the only people in the world. This is beautiful, I said, sitting on the blanket she'd spread out. Not as beautiful as you. I laughed. That was cheesy, I know, but I mean it. She poured coffee for both of us, her hands shaking slightly. Jordan, I need to tell you something. My heart started racing. Okay. 2 years ago, your parents hired me to fix you. They wanted me to turn you into the perfect, daughter-motivated, career-focused, conventionally successful. And I took the job thinking I'd help you find some direction, maybe build some confidence. Alexis, we've talked about this. Let me finish, please. She took a breath. What I didn't expect was you. Your honesty, your courage, your creativity, the way you challenged me to be better at my own work, the way you made me laugh, the way you looked at the world. She reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out a small box. I fell in love with you before I was supposed to, before it was ethical or appropriate. And then I had to wait, had to watch you grow and change and become this incredible person from a distance. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was worth it. You were worth it. She opened the box, revealing a simple gold band with a small emerald stone. Jordan Matthews, you are the bravest, most authentic person I know. You make me want to be better. You make me laugh every single day. You make me believe in love that's real and messy and absolutely worth fighting for. Will you marry me? I was crying, laughing, trying to speak through the overwhelming emotion. Yes, yes, of course, yes. She slipped the ring on my finger. It fit perfectly and pulled me into a kiss that tasted like coffee and joy and promise. I can't believe you just proposed to me, I said when we finally pulled apart. I can't believe you said yes. Are you kidding? Alexis, you're the love of my life. I've known that since the day you told me I wasn't broken. You were never broken, just hidden, and you helped me find myself. We helped each other. That's what partnership is. We stayed by the lake for hours, talking about the future when we'd get married, where we'd have the ceremony, what our life together would look like. It felt surreal and perfect and absolutely right. When we finally went back to the cabin, I called Marcus immediately. She proposed. I practically shouted when he answered. Finally, did you say yes? Of course I said yes. Marcus, I'm getting married. I'm so happy for you, Jordan. You deserve this. Both of you. We called our families next. Alexis's family was thrilled, her mother crying happy tears over video chat. My parents were more reserved but congratulatory. My mom asked about wedding dates and seemed genuinely invested. Progress. Always progress. We decided on a small ceremony 6 months later. Just close family and friends. Held at a botanical garden in the spring when everything was blooming. The planning was surprisingly fun. We argued good-naturedly about flowers. I wanted wildflowers. Alexis wanted roses. We compromised on both. We spent hours creating the perfect playlist. We wrote our vows separately and refused to show each other until the ceremony. My mom offered to help with planning, which felt like a huge step. We spent afternoons looking at invitations and discussing centerpieces. And slowly, carefully, we rebuilt our relationship. She even teared up when I showed her my dress. You look beautiful, sweetheart, she said. Alexis is a lucky woman. I'm the lucky one. You're both lucky. You found each other. The morning of the wedding, I woke up at Marcus's house surrounded by my bridesmaids, Marcus's wife, 2 friends from my design program, and Alexis's sister who I'd grown close to. They helped me get ready, did my makeup, and kept me from freaking out. What if I trip walking down the aisle? I worried. Then Alexis will think it's adorable, Marcus's wife said. Relax, this is going to be perfect. At the botanical garden, I waited with my father to walk down the aisle. He looked emotional, which was rare for him. I'm proud of you, Jordan, he said quietly. I know I didn't handle things well at first, but you've built a good life. You're happy. That's all I ever wanted for you. Thanks, Dad. That means a lot. The music started, and my bridesmaids walked down the aisle. Then it was my turn. My father offered his arm, and we began walking. And there was Alexis, waiting at the altar in a perfectly tailored navy suit, her eyes bright with tears. She looked absolutely stunning, and when our eyes met, everything else fell away. My dad placed my hand in Alexis's, kissed my cheek, and stepped back. Alexis squeezed my hand. "Hi," she whispered. "Hi," I whispered back. Our officiant, one of Alexis's mentors, smiled at us both. "We're gathered here today to celebrate the love between Jordan and Alexis. This is a love story that began in an unexpected way, grew through patience and trust, and has blossomed into the partnership we witness today." She talked about love and commitment and the courage it takes to be truly seen by another person. Then it was time for vows. Alexis went first, pulling out a folded paper with shaking hands. "Jordan, 2 years ago you walked into your parents' living room thinking someone was there to fix you, but you didn't need fixing. You needed permission to be yourself. You needed someone to see you really, see you on, believe in who you were becoming." She paused, wiping away tears. "Watching you find yourself has been the greatest privilege of my life. Watching you choose courage over comfort, authenticity over approval, your truth over other people's expectations. You inspire me every single day. I promise to always see you, to support your dreams, to celebrate your wins, and hold you through your struggles. I promise to be your partner, your cheerleader, your home. I love you, Jordan Matthews, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you." I was crying, and so was half the audience. I pulled out my own vows, barely able to see them through my tears. "Alexis, you came into my life when I was lost, when I was hiding from myself and from the world. You didn't tell me who to be. You just held up a mirror and helped me see who I already was." I looked up at her, at this incredible woman who'd changed everything. "You taught me that being seen is terrifying and necessary. You taught me that love isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. You taught me that I was worth fighting for, even when I didn't believe it myself. I promise to love you with that same courage and honesty. I promise to be your partner in everything, the adventures and the ordinary moments. I promise to keep choosing you every single day. You're my person, Alexis Torres. You always have been." Our officiant was crying now too. "By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you married. You may kiss." Alexis pulled me close and kissed me as everyone cheered. It was perfect, tender and passionate and full of promise. The reception was a blur of dancing, laughter, speeches, and joy. Marcus gave a toast about how I'd gone from his depressed little sister living in the basement to this radiant, confident person. Alexis's mother welcomed me officially into the family. My own mother danced with me and told me she loved me. No qualifications. Later, during our first dance, Alexis whispered in my ear, "I can't believe you're my wife. I can't believe you're mine. Best decision I ever made." "What? Proposing?" "No, taking your case 2 years ago, even though I knew it might complicate everything. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you saw me. Always, I'll always see you." We danced under string lights in the garden, surrounded by people who loved us, and I felt a joy so complete it was almost overwhelming. My parents had hired Alexis Torres to fix me, but she'd done something better. She'd helped me fix myself, and then, impossibly, wonderfully, she'd fallen in love with me too. I'm writing this from our home office, the one we share. Though we've learned to negotiate space and quiet hours, it's been 5 years since our wedding, and so much has changed. My graphic design business took off. I work with clients all over the country now, specializing in branding for small businesses and nonprofits. It's creative, fulfilling work that lets me make art and make a difference. I never thought I could have both. Alexis published a book about her coaching methods last year. It's being used in training programs, and she's been invited to speak at conferences internationally. She still takes on a few clients, but most of her work now is teaching and training other coaches. Watching her share her expertise with the world makes me incredibly proud. We bought this house 3 years ago, a small craftsman, with a big backyard where we planted the garden Alexis always wanted. We host Sunday dinners here now, rotating between my family and hers. My parents come regularly, and while my mom still occasionally makes assumptions about heteronormative life milestones, she's gotten much better. She loves Alexis genuinely, not just tolerantly. We got a dog last year, a rescue named Biscuit, who's utterly devoted to me, despite Alexis being the one who does all the training. Pepper the cat tolerates him with regal disdain. Last month, Alexis and I started talking seriously about having kids. We're researching fertility clinics, talking to friends who've gone through the process, figuring out who might carry first. It's exciting and terrifying, and we're taking it slow. But the conversations themselves feel like a gift planning, a future we both want. Yesterday, I was cleaning out old boxes and found my sketches from those early months when I'd just started working with Alexis. The drawings were rough, uncertain, full of shadows, but there was also hope in them, the beginnings of someone finding her way. I showed them to Alexis, and she looked through them carefully. "Look how far you've come," she said softly. "We've come. I couldn't have done it without you. You could have, but I'm glad I got to be part of it. I'm glad to." Sometimes I think about that first day, me in sweatpants, defensive and lost, meeting this confident stranger my parents had hired. I think about how angry I was, how humiliated, how certain that nothing would ever change. I think about Alexis seeing something in me that I couldn't see in myself. I think about the courage it took for both of us to admit our feelings, to wait, to do things right, even when it was hard. I think about building a life together, one choice at a time, one honest conversation at a time. People sometimes ask us about our origin story, about how we met. We tell them the truth, that my parents hired her to fix me, and she fell in love with me instead. We laugh about it now, though it wasn't funny at the time. But here's what I've learned. I never needed fixing. I just needed permission to be myself. I needed someone to hold up a mirror and say, "This is who you are," and that's enough. Alexis gave me that gift, and in return, I gave her my whole heart. Last night, we were lying in bed talking about nothing and everything. Pepper curled up between us and Biscuit snoring at the foot of the bed. Alexis was telling me about a new client who reminded her of Mayang, scared, hiding from herself. "What did you tell her?" I asked. "That she's not broken, that being afraid is normal, that the bravest thing she'll ever do is choose to be authentic, even when it costs her something." "That's what you told me." It was true then. It's true now. She kissed my forehead. "I'm proud of you, not just for coming out or building your business or being an amazing partner. I'm proud of you for choosing yourself. That's the hardest thing any of us ever do. I couldn't have done it without you." "Yes, you could have, but I'm grateful you didn't have to." This morning, I woke up before Alexis and watched her sleep for a few minutes. The morning light made her hair glow, and she looked peaceful, content. This woman who'd changed my entire life. This woman who'd seen me when I was invisible, believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, loved me before I knew how to love myself. My wife, my partner, my home. I kissed her awake, and she smiled before she even opened her eyes. "Morning," she mumbled. "Morning, I love you. Love you too." "What time is it?" "Early. Go back to sleep." "Can't. Now I'm awake." She pulled me closer. "Want to make pancakes?" "Always." We got up and made breakfast together, dancing around each other in our small kitchen with practiced ease. Biscuit begged for scraps. Pepper judged us from her perch on the counter. The coffee was strong and the pancakes were slightly burned, and it was perfect. This is my life now, the one I built from scratch after burning down the fake one, the one I created with courage and honesty and help from someone who believed in me. My parents hired Alexis Torres to fix me. Instead, she helped me find myself. And then, against all odds and ethics and timing, we found each other. That's the story. That's our truth. And every single day, I'm grateful for that first Tuesday morning when a confident stranger walked into my parents' living room and said, "Tell me something true about yourself." Because I finally did, and everything changed.